I've put about 20 hours into Pikmin 1 on Nintendo Switch since it came out. I legit archived it on Switch because I thought I wasn't going to come back to play it again before Pikmin 4 came out. But the way things are looking right now, I legit think that I'll probably end up playing Pikmin 1 again before Pikmin 4 comes out on Friday. And I do think it does need to be said, it does need to be like acknowledged that I do think over the past couple of years, my tastes have like radically changed when it comes to GameCube games, right? I used to be like all about Super Smash Bros. Melee, about Super Mario Sunshine, Wind Waker, Luigi's Mansion, but like over the past couple of years, I've felt myself like radically going to games that I did not play all that much growing up, right? In comparison, Pikmin when I first played it, was overbearing, was too much, and I was too young to play it. Same with Metroid Prime. And now, this year, having come back to these games through the re-releases on Nintendo Switch, it suddenly dawned on me for both titles that they have become, out of nowhere, some of my favorite games ever, right? And, Metroid Prime in particular, I think, is a game that needs to be talked about when it comes to this, because I've always been rather critical of Metroid Prime. Like, my impressions when I first played it was that, like, well, Super is better, right? And so that feeling kind of extended all the way up to Metroid Prime 3, where I suddenly started like turning around on it and suddenly thinking that like, yeah, I am a fan of what they did with these games, right? But like, I never really fell in love with Metroid Prime the way I did with like lots of other games. Like I played through it, I did beat it. It was a lot of fun. It was challenging, and it took a lot of effort and a lot of energy. Probably one of the harder games I played growing up, especially Metroid Prime 2. But like, looking back on it, like playing Metroid Prime Remastered, playing Pikmin 1, and like really radically just kind of being as taken in by them as I am, like it really needs to be said that like GameCube games, I think, don't really need to be released on NSO. Like what the vast majority of GameCube games need are like full-on remasters or remakes, right? With completely touched up visuals, maybe new content, maybe some like balance patches, maybe some like real radical new things, new additions to these games. Like I do think this is the era where like we can suddenly look back on GameCube titles as being like way better than we initially thought they were, right? Like we're past the point where like GameCube titles are old or like retro, and like they have become like true established like video game classics, right? Some of the best games ever made are on this platform. And I think with Metroid Prime Remastered in particular, like this game is legit like a template for everything that came after it, right? So many other games have come out since then, but like it's so bizarre with how old this game is, how primitive it is, like how it's designed, its general, like it's amazing how cutting edge it is compared to like even games that get made today, right? There are visual effects that haven't been replicated. Like it has more original ideas, great level design, great mechanics, cool power-ups. Like I find myself like shocked playing Metroid Prime on hard mode and just realizing that like, wow, it almost feels like a completely different experience. It almost feels as if I could play this game over and over and over again and have a blast with it. And I never really did that with Metroid Prime as a kid. Like the one I played over and over again was 3. That is the one I've played the most over the years because it's a lot more straightforward and it's a lot less like convoluted. I think it had like more interesting combat situations, like better boss fights, I would say. But like going back and like playing Pikmin, like playing Metroid Prime, like you really get an appreciation for these games and what they did and what they delivered on. And I think more and more these games are starting to get an audience, right? Like we used to consider Pikmin and Metroid Prime to be like, niche sub Nintendo franchises that weren't as popular as like the really big stuff. But I do think like after Metroid Dread, after Pikmin 4, we're going to see these things jump up in popularity considerably. Hopefully up to like where Fire Emblem is right now. But like I would like to see a lot more Pikmin games. I would like to see a lot more Metroid games. I would like to see like these franchises kind of grow and expand and do more ideas and be more experimental and have like more people involved and like, do some more off the wall things like they were doing in the 2000s. Like I would like to see that come back. And these re-releases I think are a good step forward in that direction. Like I would be very surprised if younger players who didn't grow up with these games are discovering them right now and are becoming big fans. Like Pikmin in particular, I think every single Pikmin game that has ever come out, other than Hey Pikmin, is available on the Nintendo Switch. Like next week, we'll have like all 4 Pikmin games available on Switch. Like this is, I think, going to be big for the franchise going forward because I think a lot of people are going to be playing these games and like really getting into them and really start enjoying them. And I have to wonder, like, we are at that point now where these 20-year-old games are like better than the stuff we're getting like today, right? And it's not even disputable. Like, I think it is undeniable that Pikmin is, over the years, going to get a very dedicated fan base. People who were too young to play these games when they first came out. And I think Pikmin 4 is going to be a major milestone when it comes to developing releasing these kind of games to that audience.